everyone, today we are going to be using this colouring book by Rita Berman, and we're going to be doing the base of the mushroom, and we may do some other bits and bobs as well. I'm just going to start with the base. So I haven't given this a lot of thought. Now I have I have 4 different greys in my set of pencils. I'm still using the Giorgione coloured pencils. I'm just going to show you the pencils I have and what's going to determine my decision. So you see this one's darkest, it's almost black. It isn't black though. There's a very dark grey. That's slightly lighter and this one's really light. I hope you can see that. Also this one is slightly browny and the others perhaps aren't, but I'm not sure. It's hard to tell by just looking at the leads. I have used them a bit, but I haven't really compared them that much. So what I'm going to do is I'm not really interested in using the really light one. I want quite bold colours, so I'm just going to pop that one away. And I think I'm going to start with my darkest shade. And what I'm going to do, I'll show you, is do a little bit of darker grey at this edge, and then fade it. And I'm going to do the same on each of these. Now I'm going to use Rita's dots here as an indication that this needs to be quite dark. So I'm going to keep this dark colour all the way until we just go beyond those dots, yeah? And the same here. I do love colouring mushrooms and it's quite fun. I usually colour Johanna Basford ones and it's quite fun. It's a bit scruffy, isn't it? Doing somebody else's, and this one is obviously quite big and quite fun. I actually picked this from my friend to colour with me because she's just had eye surgery, and because there's quite big lines I thought it might be easier for her to see, but I don't know if that is a problem for her or not. I know she's struggling a little bit, but I don't know whether colouring is a problem or whether it's other things. So hopefully she found it good. She said she's going to be doing it today, which is why I thought I would do it today, but I knew that I didn't have tons of time, so I thought we'd do it on a video, which would be fun. Now the other side, I'm not going to use this very dark. I'm going to go in with my next darkest grey, and I'm going to extend this side colour a little bit by bringing it towards the middle, going over the bit as we started to fade it. I want this to sort of line up a little bit if I can. Now if you want this darker you can do more layers, or you could even use the black to darken, not a really solid black, but a little bit more black. I'm quite happy with that. But I'm going to use some of this on this side too. So I'm doing it a bit awkwardly from above so you can see it's quite dark in here, so I'm quite aware there's a lot of shadowing going on. It is 2:30 in the afternoon and it feels like it's getting dark. I'm really not used to this darker weather. And I know the clocks don't change again now until March. They've only just changed in October and it just feels really dark. I don't mind it too much, but when I'm trying to record it's nicer if it's lighter. But luckily I've got a good lamp, so that helps me. But I look across outside and my neighbour's got all her lights on and things like that. It's quite dark. Okay, I think I'm just going to leave that there, and I'm going to grab my lighter tone to finish off. I want to slightly tip my book, I hope you don't mind. Oops. I'm going to tip it that way because it makes it easier for me. So I'm going to go right over what's here and then gently take it to the middle. This is going to determine where my middle is, so I'm going to just gently stretch out each side bit by bit. That's my brush. There we go. You can actually see how that one is a bit browner. I don't know how well that's being picked up. You can see it's a bit browner than the other greys. So again, covering over this bit and then just gently bringing the colour across. That's a bit of a harsh line there, just going to blend that a bit. Now these pencils are quite thin, they sharpen to a good point, but they're also quite vibrant, which I like. This a nice range of 72. It's a nice range of colours. I find I'm sometimes feeling a bit lacking in oranges because there's only 3. There is a reddish orange and a couple of orangey yellows and a peach, but if you consider there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 blues, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 greens, then you can see why I think the oranges are slightly lacking, especially as there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 yellows. I would rather have had a few more oranges, but you know, it is what it is. And I've also found that the browns are all quite orangey. Maybe that's why there's less oranges, I don't know. So we only have a few really sort of deep dark browns, but again, that can be okay. Depends what you want to be colouring really. And it does come with a gold pencil. I have been meaning to, and I will, do a gold comparison. Now, a lot of people like to try and make gold in their various pictures, and it's quite difficult and takes a lot of time to do it in pencil. I do it a lot with going dark brown to light brown to a sort of browny yellow to Naples yellow, you know, that sort of thing, and then a vibrant yellow leaving a bit of white for shine. It takes time to build up all those colours and to make the gold. I think it can be worth it, but sometimes if you've got a small area or you just want to do something quickly, you look to your gold pencils. Now I know that quite a few sets have a gold. This one does. I'll show you. It looks very impressive, and when you look at the case, look how shiny. But it only has a gold. It doesn't have a silver, which I find a little odd. Most sets have a gold and a silver, maybe more. But anyway, I'm going to do a video at some point comparing the different golds that I have, so that we can see how they compare. I like that, how that's come out. It looks like it's shaped, so this bit is closer to us, and it also looks slightly silvery, so I'm happy with that. What I'm going to do now is I want to add a bit of colour, because it's very just red and grey, and I'm going to start with the berries. We've got a nice selection of purples in this. I'm actually going to start with a pink. There's some very pale pinks, but also really pretty pinks, which I'm going to start with the berry. Just checking the time. Oh yeah, I've got ages. And I'm just going to go across each one. I was going to do the orange, but I've decided I want them to be a bit more purpley, because we haven't got much opportunity to introduce colour actually on this page. There's a lot of grass, and I'm doing traditional colours, so it's going to be green. So there's our pink. Now I'm going to grab, there's 2 pinks and they're really similar. I can't really tell them the difference. I'm going to grab a purple. Now this is not the darkest purple, but almost the darkest purple. It looks quite black here. Believe me, it isn't. I'm just going to sharpen up, and off we go. So I'm going to go around the edge and using the same sort of technique as I used for the circles within the red part of the mushroom. I could zoom in a little bit for you, actually, couldn't I? And you can see that I've left a little bit of the pink showing to give a sort of shine look to the berry. I think maybe shiny. Now there are very thick black marks in this picture, and I know some people like to get rid of the lines completely. I don't think you could do that on this. The only way I think you could do it is to do a black background, but then you would probably still have to go over the print with your pen, but then you'd lose these pretty details. I think sometimes you just have to accept that it's a colouring book page, it's not a photograph. And I also, it's quite funny, but sometimes I have gone over the lines before in a white pen to try and make it look more realistic. Obviously we have black lines around things for real. And I often end up feeling a little bit guilty, like I'm covering up the artist's beautiful work, and I should really just leave it. No? Now I'm thinking this is an autumnal picture, so I'm wondering about the leaves. Sorry, that's blurred. We've got a leaf on the top of here, but I think because it's next to the red, it's going to look nice in green. Just fiddling. I do need to actually warn you about one problem that I have with these pencils and the solution, because it could be useful to you. What happened with... I'll try and find the specific pencil that I had the fault with. It's that one. Sorry, bear with me. Yeah, this pencil here looks perfectly normal. What happened to it was I started using it and the lead started pushing inside the wooden barrel. I think these are budget pencils and I don't think they're glued all the way through. And you don't want to start pressing and find your leads disappearing. It's very annoying. But my husband fixed it for me. I don't know, you can't see, we're all blurred. I can't get it at the right angle anyway. He put a spot of glue on the end to try and secure the lead. That didn't work. What he did was he pushed the lead slightly inside, it's just the tiniest bit, and then filled up that hole with glue and the end. And it took a while to dry, which was fine. I'm going to go darker here, then lighter towards the centre part. Just to make it interesting, because we've got lines drawn on it. Let's use them to make our leaf look more interesting. So he fixed that for me, and another pencil in this set has done the same thing. So he's going to glue that for me next time he's used Gorilla Glue advertising. I just thought I'd tell you all it was in case it's strong glue. I don't go near glue. I'll probably end up gluing my fingers together, but he can be trusted. Well, the man who sliced off the end of his finger with a scalpel, but hey, I actually cut into my hand with a bread knife. I somehow, this is a good story. We bought a new bread knife. We'd been making bread. We got a bread maker, making bread. Bought a nice sharp bread knife. Now, sharp bread knives are supposed to be good because they don't slip on the bread and cut through it nicely. Oh, no, it kept slipping and sliding because obviously I'm not good at cutting bread, and somehow I managed to cut, I can't find the scar, it's disappeared, my right hand with the bread knife, and I'm right-handed. How did I do that? How did I even do that? I have got no idea. And we were going to London that day. We lived quite near London at the time, so it was like I think it was less than an hour on the train. So I'm going to hop on the train and nip up to London and have a day out. And there I was, having cut my hand open. I'm just going to sharpen. So luckily it wasn't that serious. I stuck a plaster on it, took some with me, had to keep changing it. Got to the I think it was Paddington station in London, went to the chemist and bought some of those stitches, paper stitches, and stuck myself back together again. I've still, yeah, you can see the scar. Hang on. There, it won't come into focus. Come on. I think you can see it there when I bend my finger. It's, wants to be out of focus. No, look, I've drawn on my butt. Oh dear, never mind. I've drawn on it twice, look at that. I shall rub those out, erase those later. I'm not going to worry about it now. You don't want to watch me erasing, it's not very exciting, is it? So, I'm just going round and round, trying to make it a little darker on the outside than the middle, just to make it more fun. There we go. And what I'm going to do with the bit that's underneath, which again looks a little blurred, is use a darker green. So this is actually probably the most mid-green there is. And I'm going to go for quite a dark, look, I go quite dark, almost black. So that's what I'm going to use. Yeah, these are triangle pencils, and I don't know whether it's something with triangle pencils, but I've heard that the Arteza Premiums also are prone to getting unstuck from the wooden case. but I haven't had that problem with mine at all. I don't know whether they've changed the quality or whether it's a particular batch or what. I mean, I press quite hard, so I don't think it's to do with my technique, so I'm not sure. But as I say, you can glue them, so it's worth knowing, because actually buying a budget set of pencils and some glue is a lot cheaper than buying a set of 150 Holbein pencils, or even in the UK a set of Prismacolors is quite expensive, and obviously the polychromos. So if you can get something a bit cheaper, it's worth it, I think, sometimes, if you think about value for money. So I'm very fortunate in that I've got a lot of different sets, but it means that I can talk a little more from experience about the differences. I find I'm still best at colouring with polychromos, but I don't think, I'm trying to make this solid but it isn't wanting to, but I don't think that's necessarily to do with the pencils as much as the fact that I've had like 5 years experience of colouring with those compared to some of my others. These I've had for a few months maybe. I haven't used them loads, so yeah, it's going to make a difference, isn't it? I'm going to use this colour here too, just to colour that in. So there's our leaf. I'm actually going to leave the video here for today and come back and do a bit more on another occasion. I will try and erase that green out of the sky before the next one, oopsie, and see where we go from there. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and come back for the next one. Happy colouring!